Today we're doing a interesting video. We have new strings on the R26 and we're getting set up for next season's hunting season, deer and moose. And we have the 20 yard, we're at 20 yards basically. And what we're going to do today is we got 3 new bolts. And what we found last year moose hunting is that even though I didn't shoot it with this bow, my buddy's Titan SS, which is significantly slower than this bow by at least 60 feet per second, when he hit the moose with the Schwacker 100 grain heads, it just blew through the whole moose out the other side and stuck into a tree. So my thinking is we want a larger cutting diameter head so that it causes more damage and it can stop the moose quicker or deer. And what I'm going to try today is the effects of increasing the grains of the heads from 100 grain to 125, which I'll probably skip over because really what I want to test is the 150 grain heads. I want to see what the effects are of the speed and if I can get them as accurate as 100 grains. So this bow is absolutely a sniper with the 100 grains. Like I can't shoot at the same target. It just Robin Hoods the arrows, and so I'm not going to be shooting at the same dot anytime today because I was done wrecking expensive bolts. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up start with the 100 grain, make sure that it's shooting straight with the new strings. We're also going to see, do the new strings increase the feet per second? This was shooting on 3-year-old strings, 394 feet per second, I believe. So we're going to put the new strings on, and I don't know, we're going to see if it increases, or obviously it can't decrease, but we're going to test that out. And then we're going to test the different grain heads, check accuracy all the way back to probably 80 yards, though I won't be hunting that far, but this bow was very, very accurate up to 80 yards. So we're going to test the heavier grain heads up to 80 yards and see if we could maybe switch to a larger mechanical broadhead during hunting season, which has a huge different cutting surface. So the Schwackers that we're using now, I believe, have a 2-inch cutting surface, and the 150 grain versions of them have a 3-inch cutting surface, which is just gigantic. So we're going to test that out today. All right, so first shot, new strings, 398 out of the R26. So about 4-5 feet per second difference using the 110 grain, and accuracy looks, it's a little bit to the right, so it needs to be adjusted slightly, but we'll put a few more shots through and see what happens. All right, second shot, 397.5, so it's basically settled in like 398 kind of speed, and it's shooting the exact same spot, so it has to be adjusted. All right, so some adjustment, 396.6, so it's about the same. It looks like I hit bull there, so we'll put a few more bolts through and make sure it's just constantly hitting bull at 20. Then I'll switch the bolt up. And that's interested, this is what the speed dial is set at for 20, basically just slightly below 400 feet per second, which is basically what I'm shooting. But you should set it up basically to what I'm doing if you're sighting a bow and you want it sighted at 20. And then as we pull distance, you want to make sure your left and right obviously is absolutely dead on. And then for elevation you can adjust the speed dial. All right, so the 110s are basically settled in at 397 range for speed. So these are the this is the 110 here, this head, and these are the 150s here. So we're gonna see, well, they're much more pointy too. That might have a lot to do with penetration. Maybe I should pull it back instead of 20 yards. Well, we'll try one, whatever. So let's just see the speed differential for the 150s. All right, so this shot here, definitely the 150s are shooting slower. 375 from 396, that shot there. So, and it's shooting obviously slightly to the right, so I'll adjust for that. And they are penetrating much deeper by, oh geez, at least 4 inches. But that might be the function of the tip is pointier as well. So we're going to pull it back and see what's going on. Anyways, I was aiming for here for this one and here for this one. So it's definitely down and pulling to the right. We'll adjust for that. All right, so I've got this dialed in now. It's shooting with these 150 grains, about 375-ish in that range, down from 397 with the 100 grains. So the 50 grains definitely makes a difference in velocity, but also you can see these are penetrating much deeper. I think with a larger cutting head, I mean an inch cutting more cutting blade when you're hunting, I think that makes a huge difference. I'm going to see. I mean, you're getting full penetration with these anyway, so it's all just wasted energy. So I'm going to move back and just make sure it's accurate. All right, so we're pushing it back to 40 yards, screw 30 yards. The speed dial's at basically 375, which is what the arrows were shooting, and now we're at 40. All right, so it's still shooting like 374, 375. I turned the speed dial down even more. It was shooting pretty low. So it's between 350, 375, so like high 360s in that range to compensate, because it was shooting low on 2 shots, and then I adjusted it and it went straight into bull at 40. So we're going to keep testing. Okay, so I went back to 20. 20 still looks really good. So now I'm going to pull it back to 50. You got to make sure that it's shooting good at all the ranges because of the speed dial, and the scope has a bolt drop kind of setup in the scope, so you have to check all the distances. All right, so we're at 50 yards now. We're going to try it out. This is what the speed dial basically settled in on this bow, like 360 something, though it's shooting 375. As long as this basically adjusts the drop in there. Once you set for 20, then you can use your speed dial to adjust for elevation. And it was shooting good at 20, shot good at 30, shot good at 40, so now we're trying it at 50. All right, so 50-yard shots. This last one, a little wind kicked up, but that's okay. Looking pretty good. 50 yards, that's definitely, those are all tolerance-wise kill shots. Let's push it out. I mean, 50 is as far as I'm going to ever shoot this hunting, but let's kick it out to maybe 70 and see how it goes. All right, I kicked it back to 60 yards. As you can see, 60 yards is pretty far. This would be the outside range of ever shooting at a actual hunting target. So I turned the speed dial back up to 373, 74, which is, you know, what the chrono indicated, and it was shooting great at 60 and great at 40. So I think I'm going to leave it basically there. I'm going to go back to 70 and see if it settles down there, but very accurate at this range. So I'm going to stick with this setting. These first two here, that one and that one, are at 60 yards, and that one's at 40 yards, and without any adjustment, anything. So it's obviously shooting pretty accurate out to 60 yards. I'm going to leave it at that. I'll do maybe just a few tests at 70 to see what happens, but I'm not going to shoot past 60, so it looks really good. All right, final shots at 70 yards. And looks pretty good. I'll have to go and check. All right, so these are the last shots I'm taking. These are at 70 yards. I was obviously aiming for that one and that one. One a little high, one in the red, so pretty good. That's way over a hunting distance you'd ever do. But so you can get 150 grain heads to shoot very well at long distances, and you can upgrade to a much bigger hunting head, which I think will have a lot of advantages. So this is the whole reason I was testing the 100 versus 150 grain. We've been using these Schwackers for years. This one right here, it's the 100 grain one, and it's been absolutely excellent against deer. We took a moose last year with this Schwacker right here. It's totally, I mean, it passed right through a moose. It's totally reusable almost. It punched right through the ribs. Super great. The design is fantastic. It's a mechanical, but it's really, it can't fail. Basically, it has these two first cutting blades. This thing penetrates. It's like a chisel tip, can't deflect. And then these blades get hit with the hide or the ribs. It snaps this rubber band off, and then it flays open these blades as it's passing through the animal. And as you can see, there's a huge cutting difference between the 100 and 150 grain heads. So we had total pass through with 100 grain last year with a bow that was only shooting 350 feet per second, like through both sides, through ribs, and then it stuck into a tree. So it's all that energy is being wasted basically with this head. So I switched to I'm gonna switch to this head right here. Obviously I sighted the bow in, so, and it shoots fine with 150 grains out to 70 yards, and you can just see the devastating cut that's gonna leave versus the 100 grain. I mean, it's just gigantic wound channel this is gonna leave, which brings down large game better. I'm gonna use it for deer as well. So that is the whole reason why this was switched and why I'm testing.